Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's Sarcast. We're going to wait a little bit, maybe like a minute or so, for more people to join in. But thank you so much for being here with us. All right. I think, should we wait a little bit more or should we start?
You can go ahead and start.
Okay, cool. Thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Alina. I am one of the peer consultants at SARC. I'm joined with Carissa. She's our director. But today I will be presenting on how to make your resumes impactful and specifically how to create strong bullet points within your description sections. Next slide. Okay, so to give a resume overview, I wanted to talk a little bit about like the main structure of a resume. So usually a resume begins with your name in bold at the top of the page, and then it's followed by an objective section. So this part is optional, but some people like to add an objective section where they're able to talk about any like what their goal is or what they want to look for in a role or in like a future job. And then next, that's followed by the education section. So that would be like University of California, Irvine, your expected graduation date, your majors, your minors, and you can also add like your honors if you have like if you're on the Dean's Honors list or if you have any other honors, you can add that there. And then next is followed by professional experience. So this can also be called like work experience if you want, but professional experience is where you want to highlight like more important things, more important experiences that are relevant to a specific job or role that you're applying for. So for example, in this like sample resume, there's like the Social Sciences Academic Resource Center, SARC, and then this person was a management intern. So you want to have like the organization or the company that you're a part of, even like the location and the dates that you are a part of that role and your role. And then here are the bullet points where you talk about more in depth of like what you did specifically. And then after the professional experience section, there's usually like a co-curricular volunteer or even like a leadership section where you talk about other experiences that um, maybe you want to classify under like leadership experience, for example, and then you would include things like AMP, the AMP Leader Mentorship Program, etc. And then lastly, people like to add a skills section. So on the bottom of the page, if you want to highlight some skills, for example, if you speak multiple languages, or if you know like some coding languages like Python, HTML, stuff like that, you can add on the bottom. And for me personally, I like to add like other involvements that I'm not able to really highlight in the rest of my resume. And I would just put like other involvements that I'm in on the bottom. And today in this presentation, we're going to mostly focus on how to strengthen these bullet points within each role or each experience that you highlight. And just as a reminder, y'all are accomplished people. You all are here at UCI, you're learning every day, you're obtaining new experiences every day, and you have a lot to be able to show an employer and a recruiter. And today we just want to use this opportunity to help y'all highlight that in this one page of text that the recruiters see. But moving on, I wanted to discuss the STAR method. So usually the STAR method is applied to behavioral questions during interviews. So for example, if a interviewer asks you a question such as like, in the past, how have you been able to manage conflict in a team? So this is like the STAR method would be used to help guide your thought process and how you would answer that question verbally. But here we wanted to continue to use that method when you're thinking about like what you did in a specific role and apply that to your resume. So STAR is an acronym and the S stands for situation. So let's start with that first. So the situation is where you want to understand the context of your role in a previous job or experience. And then identify any challenges that you want to highlight to a hiring manager or committee. Here, like challenges, or you can highlight challenges, or you can highlight like a specific project that you worked on, something like that to explain like, or to think about the general situation. And then next, the T stands for task. And you want to describe the solution or the goal that you came up with or participated in to overcome this challenge or to help out with this situation that you're in. And here you want to show how you tackle difficulties. And I want to note that this is a really important point because when you're or when you're sending in your resume, for example, or when you're in an interview, like you want to show qualities that you have to a recruiter. You want to show them like some skills, both like hard skills and soft skills that a recruiter doesn't know yet about you. And when you think about your resumes, you want to think about how you can best show those skills, like communication skills, technical skills, or teamwork skills, stuff like that. And next, think about the action that you took. So recount the details of the steps that you took to handle the situation, note the skills necessary to successfully reach your solution. Think about like what are some tangible things that you've done in your role and how did that help the situation that you're in or how did that combat the challenge that you're in. And lastly, think about what were the results that you had. What did you add to the company or what did you contribute to this project that you were part of. Here you want to quantifiably explain the results that stemmed from your contribution and tie those results back to the value that you provided. And before I move on, like I forgot to mention at the beginning, but feel free to ask questions in the Q&A or in the chat so that we can answer them towards the end of this workshop. But moving on, I wanted to talk a bit about how to condense this framework, the STAR method, to having strong bullet points in your resume. And to begin with this, I wanted to bring three tips. Oh, sorry, bring three tips. Oh no. Yeah, so firstly, we recommend using action words. So when you have your bullet point, begin your bullet point with strong descriptive action words. So if you think about like your previous experiences that you want to highlight in your resume, and for example, if you've maybe participated in this program, like reflect back on what specific things that you did, or if you had like a role in that program. So here, there's an example that says coordinated and supervised the outreach program at a local high school. So this is really important because it's just a simple switch of one or two words, the action word, but it's really important because when you think about coordinators and supervisors, you think about like those people as being really strong communicators, being strong leaders, being able to work well in a team. And that's something that a recruiter is able to imply from just these simple two words. And so that's really important to think about, like these other skills that you want to highlight. Next, another tip is whenever possible to use quantifiable results. And this means using numbers to highlight your measurable results. For example, if you are part of a student organization and you're taking on this like recruiter role where you're trying to get more people to join your organization for the upcoming term or the upcoming school year, you can say that you recruited and secured 250 students, meeting our goal for a 50% increase. And that's really great. Like a 50% increase is a lot. And this shows the recruiter that you're able to achieve what you set out to achieve, like you're able to accomplish things and see a project to the end. Thirdly, another tip is to keep everything concise. So when including all your information, make sure that it's the important and relevant information and keep it to 1 to 2 lines. So to sum everything up, an example here is that you surveyed areas of improvements and tracked progression in order to improve the quality of service. So here I added an action word, and then it talks about like what action and what were the tasks taken and what were the results. What was the goal to improve the quality of service? And next slide. So here I added a personal example from my own resume, from my experience to show y'all a bit of how I implement like the STAR framework and using these three tips, action words, quantifiable results, concise statements, to put it all into one bullet point in my resume. So to begin with the situation, in the summer of 2018, I was an intern at the Second Harvest Food Bank of Orange County. And the situation that was at hand, or one project that I worked on during my time there, was to look at this tax cut. That year, there was a new act that came out that has a tax cut, and this was potentially going to affect nonprofit organizations such as the Second Harvest Food Bank. So obviously, this is a big problem in our organization. So I was tasked to research these effects on the policy of the policy on nonprofits. And I did so by reading and summarizing articles and papers online. Specifically, like what else I did in terms of action was I synthesized the information by noting down the important information and then presenting the effects of this policy on the executives. In terms of results, it's sometimes hard to think about like what actual result that you had on a company, especially if like us as interns, we don't really feel like we're doing a lot compared to other like higher level individuals in the company. But for me, I wanted to say that I contributed to the nonprofit's understanding of this new act. And I wanted to note here that in this specific example, there's no quantifiable information that was applicable to this bullet point. So I guess like the only thing would be like if I wanted to specify how many executives I talked to, but it's not necessary to have like numbers in every single bullet point. It's just something to think about when, for example, you're working with sales, or if you're working on a team, like how many people you worked with, or if you're teaching or advising, like how many students, 20 to 30 or something like that. And using the action words, using quantifiable results whenever possible, and the concise statements, I combined everything to say that I evaluated the financial, philanthropic, and community effects of the 2018 Tax Cut and Job Act on nonprofit organizations and synthesized all relevant information for presentation to senior level executives. So here I started with an action word, and then I talked about, so the situation was put here, the 2018 Tax Cut and Job Act. The task was to do research on it, summarize it, so evaluating the effects. And the action was synthesizing this in a presentation, and the results was to contribute to the senior level executives' understanding of this new act. And here is a sample resume, and I want to point out that there are a lot of resources online where you can find sample resumes. So for example, you can look at the Division of Career Pathways, DCP. They have a lot of great resources that I will also show at the end of this workshop, where they have resumes that are split by department, and they even have example resumes of like double majors or um, like there's a lot. But here we want to think about like how can we use STAR in these examples? Are action words used, and does this show specific results in a clear way? So in this example, this person was a management intern, and you can see that they started with advise and correspond. I think those are really great action words to start with. Similarly, for the Anteater mentorship program, they started with organize and oversaw and created. Those are really strong action words to start your bullet points. And then showing specific results in a clear way, like thinking about STAR, situation, task, action, results. advise undergraduate students on career opportunities. So this is like what you did in this role and how to apply knowledge and experience to expand professional experiences. So expanding professional experiences, that is like the main goal or the results or the impact that you have. Similarly, if we look here, correspond with professionals, alumni, faculty members, that's really specific on like who you're able to work with, communicate with. These three types of people. To educate students, here's the impact. To educate students on growing fields and advancements in professions within the social sciences. So this is a really great example. There's a lot more online. UCI has examples for you to look at. And then that's the end of our workshop today. I do have one more thing to show y'all. There's a handout that we created, and it has a lot of links and resources for y'all. So, but before we go to the handout, I just wanted to say that y'all are free to schedule consultations with us at SARC. You can schedule them with the peer consultants or the graduate student advisors. But right now we're doing virtual appointments and you can schedule them on UCI, the UCI appointment system, or you can send us an email if you ever have questions or you wanna, we can also schedule consultations for you via email. And feel free to follow us on our social media as well. But again, if you have any questions, please ask them in the Q&A. But for now, I will exit this and show y'all the handout that I will attach to the email that will be sent out later. So here's the resources handout. So again, we kind of debrief like the STAR method, situation, task, action, result. And here's a really good resource. It's a link to a website from Columbia, and they basically show you how to use the STAR method, situation, task, action, result. Some of the questions are really great for y'all to think about when you're reflecting on what you did in a specific experience or a role. And there's also a lot of great examples here. And it even shows you like, if you were to put this into a resume, what would you put like in one single bullet point? And yeah, so hopefully this is a helpful link. We also have another framework if you want to use a different one to think about. It's really similar, but the PAR framework stands for problem, action, results. And here's another example from a website where you can look at what the action word, what you did, and other descriptions and results. This is really great for if you want to look for some examples. For example, if you were in an administrative role, you can think about accurately entering data into some system using strong attention to detail, like this shows a skill that you want to highlight, and then to update contact information. So this is important for a recruiter to look at the impact that you had. These are really great resources. Hopefully that's helpful for y'all. And then this is really cool because there's like a list of action words that you can look through. We're gonna wait for it to load. Okay, so this is really cool because it's organized by certain skills. So for example, if you wanna highlight communication skills or teaching skills, technical skills, I think a good way to look at this is when you're applying for a job or a role, look through the job description and see if they're trying to look for a specific skill in a candidate. And then you can highlight that in previous experiences that you've had. And then there's more action words here, more action words here. But here's what I was talking about earlier from the Division of Career Pathways. They have a lot of great examples of resumes. And here, resumes by school. We can look at social sciences. They have two really great examples here. And if you're part of other schools, etc., you can look for more examples. But I think that is the end of our presentation. Feel free to ask questions. Oh, I think there were questions in the chat. Okay, so first question. I don't know, or I know this isn't the exact topic, but can you talk a little bit about cover letters? Yes, I can try. Um, so cover letters is different from resumes in that cover letters is like more of a like it's written in sentences, first of all, it's written in paragraph form, and you're kind of addressing to a employer or a recruiter like specific skills um, and experiences that you've had. But like I guess for me, how I think about a cover letter is being able to highlight soft skills that you're not really able to highlight in your resume. So for me, I use it as an opportunity to describe, like, for example, my study abroad experience. I don't really have a place on my resume to put study abroad experience. So I want to highlight skills that I've gained from my studying abroad to like I want to show that to the interviewer or the recruiter. So I add that in my cover letter. Um, in the beginning of your cover letter, you want to start off with like a short introduction about yourself, what school you attend. Oh, great. There's like a sample cover letter in the chats. But you can talk about in the beginning, you can talk about yourself and then why you want a position that you're applying for, and then highlight some maybe like one or maybe like 2 to 3 experiences or soft skills to a recruiter, and then at the end like thank them for their time, thank them for reading. You're really excited to look forward sorry, you're really excited to hear back from them, or you're looking forward to hear back from them or to talk to them. So hopefully that was like a quick overview of cover letters. Let me know if you have further questions with that, and also feel free to schedule an appointment or a consultation with Sark so that we can help y'all more with cover letters. But for the second question, it asks for the skill sections, should I list hard skills only or can I list soft skills as well? That's a great question. Personally, I would highlight hard skills only, but I don't know if Carissa, you have anything to add for that?
Sure, that's a really great question. So ultimately, any soft skills that you put on there, they should probably already be highlighted in your actual bullet points from your experiences. So, think of your resume as some prime, space, right? And so you really want to utilize it to the best of your ability. So putting your soft skills on there probably wouldn't be utilizing that space unless you're really trying to fill some stuff up. But hopefully you can kind of integrate that within your actual experiences and your bullet points. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, thank you for the clarification. But as of now, there's no more questions in the Q&A. So feel free to ask any if y'all still have questions.
And as we wait for more questions, Alina, do you want to talk about internship week that's happening next week at Division of Career Pathways? Anything that you might know?
Oh yeah, so next week on Thursday they have some events. Actually, I don't remember the exact dates, but the Division of Career Pathways has a lot of events going on. But next week they have like an internship one. They have an internship and career fair on Thursday. So definitely check that out. I think it's going to be really helpful, especially if you want to come to Sark and we can help you check your resume and cover letter and then be able to um, show that off to a recruiter on Thursday. But thank you for putting the link in. That is a link to DCP's internship week that is happening next week. It doesn't seem like there's any more questions in the Q&A, so we can probably go ahead and end here. But thank you so much again for your time, and I hope this was really helpful for you all. Again, feel free to come to Sark. Like, we're always happy to help however we can. Yes, thank you so much. All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you.